Hello, RPG community, welcome back. Hello. Today I have a homebrew race once again. Gonna go with the Thriae, a race featured in Bestiary 3, and show you a picture of what they look like. I was really fascinated when I saw these. That's the queen. Of course, the top half is that of a very slender, very attractive humanoid, and the lower portion being that of a bee. So that one, that's the seer type, and we have the soldier type there. I thought these were really cool. I've been looking at this one for a few months now, trying to work out all the mechanics for it. And I think I've come up with something pretty good. As always, whenever I make a race, I refer to the Advanced Race Guide as a format, as a guide. Using the race builder section in there, I can try to come up with a balanced system, and really I can't find anything else anywhere else that quite presents race creation rules. So going with this Thriae, highly spiritual creatures and keepers of the world's greatest secrets. The Thriae are a race of female beelike seers, coveted for their powers of divination and prophecy. Roughly humanoid in size and appearance, Thriae keep to the outskirts of civilization, tending to their mysterious rituals and maintaining a watchful, if passive, eye over the machinations of nearby societies. While possessing an eerie air of mysticism, Thriae are nonetheless startlingly beautiful. Their slender bodies give an unexpected grace to the otherwise unsightly mannerisms of giant bees. They appear to be sticking to an alignment of lawful neutral. So just going on with what I'm going to present now with the race creation rules. The Thriae I came up with two. Let me see here. I believe there are 16 racial points here. Between 15 and 16. Very close to the same racial point costs as you would find with the Syrinx, if I'm saying that word right. The owl humanoid creature that they released as a playable race in the Inner Sea Bestiary. It's a campaign setting book, I believe. Let's check on that. Yeah, campaign set in Inner Sea Bestiary. They're featured as at least 16 racial points. Yeah. And they don't really list the other one, the Strix. They don't ever list the racial point cost for them, but it would not be too hard to figure out, but I think they're around the same amount. So again, another race you can present, particularly if you're looking for one with flight. As you'll notice with the Strix and the Syrinx, they have incredibly good flight speed. A little powered there, overpowered perhaps, depending on your view of it. They possess a fly speed of 60 feet for average maneuverability. Most of the other things you see created for as far as races, they usually have 30 feet with poor maneuverability. But you can't, I just don't see the point in creating a race with lesser flight when you have these two races out there like this, especially when the Thriae have the same kind of flight speed. I couldn't see reducing that. Wouldn't make any sense to me. So, they are Monstrous Humanoid. Racial point of 2. Size, they are medium creatures. Base speed, normal speed, 30 feet. Ability score modifiers, I went with +2 to Dex, -2 to Intelligence, and a +2 to Charisma. So that is the part of the standard ability score modifier array there for no point cost. And what I listed them as is that Thriae are graceful and agile, but lack quick thinking and independent mindsets, being that they're from a community hive. Similar to what I presented with the Formian. After doing this race, I'm probably going to go back over to Formian and touch that up a bit. Now that I'm getting a little more comfortable with hive type of races. I think I just need to clean that one up a little better, just to present it in a better light. But anyway, back to the Thriae. Languages, standard. They have their own racial language of Thriae. And I suggested that they begin play speaking Common and Thriae. And Thriae with high intelligence scores can choose from the following languages: Auran, Aslant, Celestial, Draconic, Elven, and Sylvan. So that's no cost there. Magical racial traits. If they do have the power of the Seer, the blood of the Seers, more spiritual individual within the community, then I would suggest the blood of Seers as a racial trait. It's a cost of 2. It's a homebrew. I had to look at a lot of the other different types of racial innate magic from the Advanced Race Guide. There's quite a few of them, like the underground gnome type of magic, the Sorcerer Pearl. I don't. There's gnome magic, elven magic. So trying to look at those and create the same type of format for the Thriae, I've come up with Blood of Seers. What this is: Thriae with a wisdom score of 11 or higher gain the following spell-like abilities: Constant, detect secret doors, and then once a day, calm emotions, detect thoughts, and sound burst. The DC for these spells is equal to 10 plus the spell's level plus the caster's wisdom modifier. Note, this is not charisma modifier, this is wisdom. They do have a type of magic in the race builder section where unlike the others that rely upon charisma for like sorcerer's power, this one relies upon one of those relies upon wisdom, since this is coming from a spiritual essence or source. So the same thing here with the blood of Seers. Perhaps being fed more of that magical honey during their larvae stages, and they've developed a innate spiritual magic. And let's see what else we got here. Movement racial traits. Gotta go with flight. It is a weighted cost of 9. Very, very high, because they have a fly speed of 60 feet with average maneuverability. The Strix and the Syrinx get it, so why not these, especially if they can already do it in the Bestiary stats. Alright, on to offense racial traits. We got natural attack. The Thriae employ a sting as one of their natural attacks, which they can deliver poison through that. So I went with natural attack for a weighted cost of 1, and then also had to compound that with toxic, since they can deliver a poison through that stinger. And I'll read that now. So natural attack is 1 point, and then toxic is 1 point. Stinger. Thriae can sting their opponent as a natural attack, dealing 1d4 damage. If the attack hits, the Thriae's attack may also deliver a poison number of times per day equal to Constitution modifier, minimum of 1. 1 per day. Poison, injury, save, fortitude DC, 10 plus 1/2 the hit dice plus the Constitution modifier. Frequency once a round for 6 rounds. Effect 1d2 strength. Cure 1 save. A Thriae can milk this poison from her stainer to envenom a weapon that it wields, applying the poison as a swift action. So there's that type. I've also introduced it as a alternate as well. Should they have the Blood of Seers trait, which would be required for this, they could get the Mind Sting, where instead of delivering a toxic poison that saps your vitality, your strength, this one would sap constitution of mind. Some Thriae possess the stinger of a seer that delivers another type of poison, and that would be confusion. Would be the effect for 1d4 rounds to be confused. So it robs them of their mental faculties. So there's that. That just replaces the standard toxic poison. Senses racial traits. Since they're monstrous humanoid, they get dark vision for no cost. But I gave them also low light vision, which is a cost of 1. They do not get that for free. Other racial traits presented in the bestiary stats for these, and along with the lore. The lore is really, really good. It's quite an interesting read. I particularly liked the society, how they go about their daily tasks, their fringes upon other civilizations, and how they would react or interact with those. The fact that there's mainly female community here, and then you go outside of that community to get a male consort as far as procreation goes. So really, really, really great stuff. They talk about the larvae stages, which I think is awesome. But they also talk about the Thriae's merope, a magical honey produced by Thriae queens that possesses many supernatural properties. Drinking merope can be remarkably diverse. They seem to go into like a tranquil like haze when they drink it. But for non-Thriae, it would have the effect of just a very strong alcohol. But they could also become addicted to it if they become weak-willed. But this is one produced by the queen only, although it's hinted that some of the Thriae claim to have developed merope with the ability to affect non-Thriae with more potent effects. But these claims are regarded as blasphemy and treason by most of the Thriae's hives. So, going along with that, and all the bestiary stats for these, such as the seer and the soldier, they get to dine upon this merope, known as merope consumption. And when they do so, it's a standard action where they consume a dose of merope, the magical honey, and they enhance their abilities, whether it be combat or further tap into their spiritual powers. So I've listed that here as something they can get. It's a homebrew. I couldn't put a cost on it because it's something that's given to them from the queen. They don't produce it themselves, supposedly. Although you could create a wondrous item with the craft wondrous feat and the brew potion feat, and make something with maybe like a 1d4 to 1d6 sort of potion result effects. But for this, I put its SU, merope consumption. As a standard action, a Thriae may consume a dose of merope, a magical honey produced by their queens, to gain a +2 insight bonus to attack rolls, saving throws, and caster level checks made to overcome spell resistance for 1d6 + 3 rounds. Merope may be consumed a number of times per day equal to 1 plus your wisdom modifier. However, at the GM's discretion, you may not have access to merope if you are away from the community. So if you're not near the hive, if you're standing with them as fallen, if you're in exile of some sort, you would not be allowed to use this. However, if you're near community, role-playing wise and such, if you're on the outskirts of another hive or traveling to another one, I would think as the GM, you could allow this supernatural effect to be under their control. The ability to use that, so it's a homebrew with no cost. Weakness racial traits. This is a homebrew. I went with hive mentality for -2. Thriae are communal creatures, drawing strength and purpose from their sisters. A Thriae deprived of the company of her own kind suffers a -2 penalty on all will saves. So that's something I'll have to look at with the Formians, as far as being away from the hive, whether they are on some sort of diplomatic sort of emissary type, or whether they are exiled, some sort of outcast caste. So with this one, I don't really see how you could get booted from the community unless you went along those very vague passages about the Thriae's lore concerning the merope consumption. Perhaps if you tried to produce it magically and distribution, that would be seen as blasphemy and treason. So that would be one thing you could do as well, depending upon the creation of the race, GMs ruling and such, whether the hive mentality would take effect. I would think while you're within the hive, near the hive, anything like that, around your other sisters, you wouldn't have to worry about this. But as far as traveling, adventure away from the hive, this should definitely apply, given to all the great fluff that is listed in the bestiary for these creatures. Alright, that about covers it. Just see if I have anything else here. So yeah, I would say they're about 15 as far as the cost here. Let me just check that one more time. $14. Okay, that's not too bad. So yeah, they're not very powerful. They're not overpowered race. It is within the advanced power level of the race, so that's on par with, you know, Azamars, Tieflins, the Strix, the Syrinx. I just really like this race. I thought it was really cool, just a B type of race. They have very great features, very beautiful. I imagine if you were to try and create some sort of racial archetype, maybe, I'd be very interested in seeing some sort of Callistria sting. Maybe with some abilities where they can summon bees, giant queen bees or wasp swarms, having some very strong divination power at their disposal. You could also even look at the Strix's racial type here. Racial archetypes, the airborne ambusher, I think, plummeted in charge, flying dodger, aerobatics, combat flyer. I mean, there's a lot of great stuff there. You can look at some other things like that as far as races with flight, particularly in the advanced race guide, and easily come up with your own equipment, archetype, maybe some feats, dealing with flight. But yeah, that's all I got. I hope you liked this. I thought it was really cool. I'm definitely going to allow it in my group. And all the stats, everything I talked about, I will put that in the description of this video below. Other than that, let me know if you have anything in the meantime. And I'll be doing some more here within the next few weeks. Alright, see ya.